Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Alana McIntosh. I'm a real estate broker in New York City, and today we're going to discuss the Foreign National Loan Program. Today I'm going to be joined with Anna Belle Simms of Caliber Home Loans, and Annabelle is going to go into details about what this program is and how you can benefit from it if you are a foreign national. So, Annabelle, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Lana, for having me. Absolutely. So, yes, I am with Caliber Home Loans, and there are a lot of products out there in the lending world, right? But some of the people that we've seen being exempt are the people who are foreign nationals. They're here, they don't have a social security, they don't have, the right documentation. We call them, some of them, undocumented. We can help those people to acquire property here by investing in this country as well. We have the foreign national products where even if they don't live here, they're outside of this country, they can still acquire and buy property. What are they going to need? 25% down payment. And in some cases, we could even go up to 80% in some cases, depending on whether they own other properties here or not.
Okay. Yeah, I know. So this has been a popular question among some of my clients that are international buyers and that are interested in buying or obtaining real estate here in the U.S. So a few questions that have been asked is, okay, so what is required? Do you need a tax ID or do you need an LLC? Can you buy, with
So
cash? Like
you
what's
can create an LLC or a corporation to protect yourself if you have a tax ID. But if you're not at all in this country, a valid passport, 25% down payment, and that's really what we use. We just have to document that you're living outside, show proof that you don't live in this country if you are outside of this country. If you're here and there are people who have credit report or credit score with I-10, right?
okay?
We can also use that as well. So there's various different ways to do it. Valid passport, 25% down payment, proof of where you live. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so does a person have to have a certain kind of status? In other words, when I say status, can they be a visitor that's interested in buying real estate, or do they have to be in the country and establish, a period of time, or
They don't have to live in this country at all. They don't have to even visited this country. All they need
oh,
is a valid passport to show which country they're associated with. So if you're from Jamaica, a Jamaican passport, right? And the 25% down payment on your closing costs. That's all we're asking for. Because you're an investor, you want to invest in this country. If you're already here, same thing, valid passport, down payment and closing cost.
okay. And so one of the other questions that came up is, let's say if that person, if they want to come here, or maybe they want to send their children to school here at some point, or maybe they want to come here and go to college, or they want to build a business here. Are there any incentives that the government, the U.S. government, is offering to investors or people that want to own real estate here?
Unfortunately, there's no incentive in the investment world because you got to think you're an investor. You should have the money. You should have everything. You're coming here to invest in this country, so we don't really have any incentives for them. But the incentive is you can still own a property. You're not exempt. You can buy and invest in this country just the same. That's really the incentive. They have not locked their doors to say that you can't buy a property and you can't get financing. We're saying you can still get financing. Think about that, right? You go to another country or you have never even visited the country, but you already own a property in the United States of America, this place that we call home, the land of the free, right? Home of the brave. You can buy property. So that's the incentive. We're giving you access to the capital. We have that capital here. You'll get the mortgage, you'll own the property, two, three. I have investors who own 3 properties here, never been in this country.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. And so, you mentioned you have investors that purchase multiple properties. Is this are there like state by, is it case by case, state by state, or it's across the board, all 50 states, no
All fif
problem.
all 50 states, no problem. 1
Okay.
property, 2 property, 3 property, 10 property, 20 property,
Yeah, commercial property.
commercial property.
Okay, okay, and your company provides those services.
We do. We have the resources.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, I think you've answered pretty much all of our questions.
So,
Um,
can I just hop in as well and tell you about our
sure.
DSCR product? So,
Yeah, tell us
I know
more.
it. One of our very popular, our most popular product is a DSCR, where if you're documented and you live here in this country, right, not a foreign national, you can buy property up to 20% investment, 1 to 4 family, 20% down payment is what you would need, no income. No tax returns, no W-2s, no pay stub. We'll just take the property as is. We use the income as a property for the property that's been generated by that property. And that's what we use to give you a mortgage as well. So if you have, we have those clients in this country who maybe they write everything off, right? They're self employed, they don't make enough money, but they want to invest. We have that as well for them. So it's not just a foreign national, but we have investor product, which is no income verification as well.
Interesting. And where are the interest rates right now for some of these products?
So rates are actually, and I'll the secret is actually lower than the conventional investments. Sixes, fives in some cases. I just had a customer who closed 5.825. And if they're willing to buy points, even lower.
Interesting, interesting. So, Annabelle, can you tell us what is the definition of DSCR?
Debt service coverage ratio. So we're looking at the debt service of the property, right? Which is the income. So let's
Okay,
say the rental, you have a property you're buying, the rental you're going to collect is $2,000, and your monthly payment is $1,999. That's your debt service coverage ratio. It covers the payment one time. We call it 1%. So we can do that. Even if it doesn't cover the payment, we can still do it. It just requires a higher down payment.
interesting.
And
Okay,
you don't have to own a property. You don't have to own another property. So let me just clarify that, because there are banks that offer this product, but you have to own a primary residence. You don't have to own a primary.
okay. So a buyer is able to purchase as strictly business or
Investor.
investor, yeah, investment purposes. Okay, okay. And how, are there any regulations or requirements in regards to a credit score or not?
So
Probably,
foreign nationals, of course, no credit, because they're not affiliated with this country. So there's no credit for foreign nationals. For those that are here, 660 or more. In some cases, we could go down to 640.
and how is credit, like, how would their credibility be like determined or even established if they're not a U.S. National?
So the foreign national, we ask that they give us 2 letters from your bank.
Okay,
That's it.
so they need two. Is it letters of like a bank reference or
Bank reference. If
character
they
reference?
correct bank reference. If they have trade lines there, let's say they have a car payment, we can also take a letter from them to show that they've been making their monthly payment.
Interesting, very interesting. And if, let's say if they have if they're employed, they can use their foreign pay stubs as well.
They can.
Okay,
I have a foreign national that I did as well that did not require any references at all. So there are different products out there. Because if you think about it, right, who is to say that these people are not just creating these letters for us? So what's
right.
the risk? The bank is looking at it, we'll do it without. So it all depends.
Okay. Have you seen any unique deals or situations that you've come across that you'd like to share with us on how you were able to do creative financing for a national? Because I know this program is new, and as much as we are talking about the details, can you give us like an example, or are you able to share that information to some
So
extent?
here's I had two. I probably can share two. One is the buyer actually is already here in the US. So they're
Okay.
here. They have an ITIN number and they already have a credit score based on that ITIN number.
Okay.
So we were able to get them a better interest rate because they have a score. And that credit reports that as their character references. So, of course,
Okay.
that person got a lower score than someone who did not have any score whatsoever. So that's one case. I did another one. This buyer bought two properties. He was in Canada, and he bought two properties here. No character reference, no credit score. We were able to get it done. So here's what was unique about this one. On the day of closing, the power of attorney we could not use with this particular bank, and he had to drive 13 hours across the border to come in to sign the documents. So this was a pretty unique one. It took much work because he started with another bank. They could not do it for some reason. They couldn't just pull it together because these were condos, and we were able to get it done.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. Okay,
So
so
we do unique things, call the bar. Listen, you got to drive across the border. Let's get these documents signed. They get these closed. They did come in, and we didn't do any correct reference for that person. No credit score at all.
okay, so is there a length of time where the owner can, or the purchaser can own the home and then they can sell or refinance, or is that not allowed? They just, can you tell us more about that?
So each customer always choose their own prepayment penalty. The bank offers prepayment penalty of 1, 3, or 5. So if the borrower knows I'm going to hold this property for a year or 2 years, or you know what, I'm going to keep this property for the next 5 years, the
Okay.
prepayment penalty will help to determine their interest rate. So of course, if they keep it for a longer time, the bank makes more money in interest, so they get a lower interest rate. But there is, if they decide I'm just going to take 1 year prepayment penalty, they can sell it. And we're not saying that they cannot sell it in 5 years. Within that 5 year, if they take the 5 year prepayment penalty, there will just be a penalty, right, of up to 5% of the balance owed
The
to pay it
balance.
off.
Okay.
Correct. 5% of the balance owed. That's a penalty.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. But they can sell at any point. There's
Yeah.
no bank that you're going to go to and say, guess what? I have the money to pay off my mortgage. And they say, nope, we don't want it.
Okay. Okay. And so, can you tell us a little bit more about, um, you know, how this program came about, and some of the, do you think that this is going to be here to stay, or you think that at some point, this program may close off? Do you think that, based on your knowledge, you,
So we're seeing a turn in the market where the investor products are coming back.
okay,
With COVID over the past 2 years and the drop in interest rates and everyone trying to sell their property and all the equity, we found a lot of investors start buying. There was so much money flowing the cash, whether it was from Bitcoin, whether it was from these investments. There was just a lot of money flowing in the economy. And so we find a lot of investors, especially young investors, coming in, and this product become more attractive. Now, the traditional conventional Fannie and Freddie Mac says, we don't like these products. They're not attractive to us. And so just to get a Fannie Mae or a Freddie Mac traditional conventional loan, you have to pay 2 or 3 points in addition to your interest rate. And so the investor says, we're going to create products that we will just cater to investors and give them the best possible interest rate because we are not guided by Fannie and Freddie. So
okay,
these products came about that way. They have been about for a while, but they're coming back with the investment, with the change in the market. Fannie and Freddie just charging so much points just to get you into an investment product. So the investor world is coming back because of that.
okay, okay. So some of the points to highlight is a buyer can qualify for the loan as long as they're able to provide reference and 20% down, correct?
25 for foreign
Excuse
national.
me, 25% down. So a foreign national has to put 25% of the purchase price down in order to qualify for this loan product.
Correct.
Okay, correct?
Correct.
Okay. They have to provide a letter of reference or two
Not in
letters,
all cases, not in
not in
all
all cases,
cases,
but it helps.
and a valid passport.
A valid passport, okay? And you can purchase a condo, you can purchase a single family, you can purchase a two family, you can purchase a multifamily, you can purchase commercial property. Sky's the limit as long as you're able to put 25% down
Correct.
on the purchase price.
Yeah.
Awesome,
It's
awesome.
opening up the world of opportunities. There's so many people that came over as immigrants in this country,
Yeah,
and because of some reason or the other, their status is just not documented, and they've just been paying rent. And you have people here that are making a ton of money. They have the cash, they have all of this money sitting on. And yet they don't know what to do with it. How do I get something? How do I buy a property FHA conventional? How do I invest? This is the way that you can get in. You invest by buying property with a valid passport.
yeah. And how are co-ops treated under this loan program?
So we do have a few investors that do the co-ops. The co-op though have to allow for subleasing. That is the
Okay,
key there because some co-ops they don't allow subleasing. As long as they allow subleasing, we can do it.
okay. Oh, peditiers.
Hmm.
Okay, okay.
Correct.
Well,
SORs, SROs. You mentioned that one to me before.
yes,
SROs, we can do those as commercial, depending on the amount of occupants in the property.
right. So an SRO, guys, is single room occupancy. Okay, this is a dwelling where it looks like a multifamily, but the property is rented as rooms. It's similar to a hotel, but it's in a smaller dwelling, like a smaller scale. So SROs are treated as commercial,
Correct.
and in that case, you have to put what's the down payment?
Up to 30%, depending on the FICO score. We might be able to do 25% in some cases, but it depends on the FICO score. It depends on whether or not that person own any of the property. It depends on qualification.
Okay. Now, what is the fixed term? Is it 30-year? Is it 15-year, 10-year, 5-year?
So we have interest only, where you could pay interest only for the first 10 years, and then you start paying a mortgage. You have 30-year fixed. You also have 15-year fixed. We also have arms as well. So it just depends on the investor and what they're looking to accomplish.
Okay. And then ARM is an adjustable rate
Correct.
mortgage. For people that are new and they're like, what? What are all these
It's
terms?
not my favorite. I'm sorry.
It's not. It's an adjustable rate
It's
mortgage.
adjustable rate mortgage, correct? But most investors are either looking for the interest only, where there's cash flow, or they'll do the 30-year fixed,
Right. Where they know, okay, your interest is
locked in.
fixed, it's locked in for the next, for that period of time. And yeah, and pretty much you can adjust your numbers to suit. Yeah, okay, perfect. Well, Annabelle, thank you.
Of
Thank you
course.
for joining me today and
Fun stuff.
discussing this loan product.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Listen,
Yeah,
invite me again. We have a ton more products that we can always discuss, the bank statement program, all those fun stuff. So this is just for the investors. The foreign national is what we wanted to highlight today, but always a pleasure, Alana.
yes.
And I did send you some of those flyers. So those that are watching that want, more about the product, Alana also have those flyers. She's branded on those flyers as well. And she's an investor herself, so she knows what she's doing.
And Annabelle can be reached at, can you tell us your contact information? We'll also have it in
Seven
the bio, but yes.
718-809-9972. That's my direct cell phone. And if you can't reach me, you can reach Alana, who knows where to find me, of course.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Annabelle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe and follow me for more real estate tips.